Have you ever felt like your worries were becoming your identity? Like the stress, fear, and problems in your life were slowly defining who you are? But what if your worries are only temporary visitors, not the real you? We're going to talk about detachment, not running away from life, but learning how to separate your true self from the fears and anxieties that constantly come and go. Because no matter what storms pass through your mind, you are more than your worries, and you always will be. Detachment doesn't mean we stop caring. It means we stop believing that every fear, stress, or painful thought is who we are. Too often, we become so attached to our worries that we begin to mistake them for our identity. But thoughts are temporary. Emotions rise and fall. Difficult seasons come and go. Detachment is the ability to step back and realize you can experience fear without becoming fear. You can face pain without losing yourself to it. And you can carry burdens without letting them define your worth. Worries are temporary visitors. They arrive, they make noise, and eventually they pass. But beneath all of them, there is still you, steady, aware, and unchanged at your core. They enter our minds loudly, demanding attention, filling us with fear, doubt, and uncertainty. For a moment, they can feel overwhelming, as if they will stay forever. But no worry remains unchanged. Like storms passing through the sky, they eventually weaken, shift, and move on. And beneath all the noise, beneath every anxious thought and every difficult season, there is still you, steady, aware, and untouched at your core. Your worries may surround you, but they are not your identity. They are experiences you move through, not the person you truly are. Life will always bring uncertainty. Financial pressure, heartbreak, health concerns, disappointment, fear of the future. No one moves through life without facing challenges. Some storms arrive suddenly, while others quietly weigh on us day after day. But uncertainty is not proof that life is falling apart. It is part of being human. The future has never been fully predictable, and yet people still heal, rebuild, grow, and find peace again. Even in difficult seasons, life continues to move forward. And so do we. But none of these experiences define your identity. They are chapters, not the entire story. The moment we become attached to our worries, we start carrying them as labels. We begin turning temporary struggles into permanent identities. Instead of saying, "I'm going through anxiety," we say, "I am anxious." Instead of admitting we're hurting, we start believing, "I am broken." Instead of facing setbacks, we convince ourselves, "I am failing." Over time, these thoughts stop feeling like passing emotions and start feeling like definitions of who we are. But a difficult season is not your identity. Pain is an experience, not a life sentence. Fear is something you feel, not something you become. The danger of attachment is that we stop seeing ourselves beyond our struggles. And when that happens, worries no longer just visit the mind. They begin to shape the way we see ourselves. But detachment reminds us to shift perspective. Instead of saying, "I am anxious," we begin to say, "I am experiencing anxiety." Instead of believing, "I am failing," we recognize, "I am facing difficulty." Instead of thinking, "My life is falling apart," we understand, "I'm going through a hard season." That small shift in language creates a powerful shift in identity. Because when we stop defining ourselves by temporary struggles, we create space for healing, growth, and clarity. We realize that emotions are experiences we move through, not permanent truths about who we are. Detachment reminds us that we are more than our worst moments, more than our fears, and more than the thoughts passing through our minds today. That small difference changes everything. Because once you stop treating temporary emotions as permanent identities, you begin to see yourself differently. You stop carrying every fear as a definition of who you are. Instead of feeling trapped by your struggles, you realize you are simply moving through them. And that realization brings clarity, peace, and the strength to keep going. Sometimes the greatest freedom comes not from controlling every problem in life, but from understanding that your worries were never the true measure of your identity. Instead of feeling trapped by your struggles, you realize you are simply moving through them. And that realization brings clarity, peace, and the strength to keep going. Sometimes the greatest freedom comes not from controlling every problem in life, but from understanding that your worries were never the true measure of your identity. Clouds can cover the sky, but they never become the sky itself. No matter how dark, heavy, or endless they appear, the sky still exists beyond them, untouched and unchanged. In the same way, worries can fill the mind without becoming the essence of who we are. Fear may cloud your thoughts. Stress may weigh heavily on your heart. Pain may make life feel uncertain for a while. But beneath all of it, your deeper self still remains. Thoughts and emotions are temporary weather passing through the mind. They shift, they move, and eventually they fade. But your true identity is greater than the storms you experience. Detachment helps us remember that we are the sky, not the clouds passing through it. When we learn detachment, we stop fighting every thought and emotion. We observe them, learn from them, and let them move through us instead of imprisoning us. We begin to observe our feelings instead of being consumed by them. We acknowledge fear without surrendering to it. We allow sadness, stress, and uncertainty to pass through us without letting them take permanent control of our identity. Detachment doesn't mean becoming cold or emotionless. It means creating enough inner space to experience emotions without becoming trapped inside them. And when we stop resisting every uncomfortable feeling, something changes. The mind becomes quieter, the heart becomes lighter, and emotions lose the power to imprison us. We learn from them, grow through them, and let them move through us, instead of carrying them forever. Because no matter what comes and goes in life, fear, success, loss, confusion, pain, your deeper self remains. Life is always shifting. One moment you may feel confident and certain, and the next, unsure and overwhelmed. Experiences rise and fall like waves, constantly changing shape and intensity. But beneath all of it, there is something in you that does not disappear with circumstance. A steady presence that exists beyond outcomes, beyond emotions, and beyond temporary states of mind. Detachment is the reminder that you are not defined by what happens to you. You are the awareness that witnesses it all, the one that remains, even as everything else changes. Detachment is not about escaping life. It's about meeting life without losing yourself in it. It doesn't remove pain, and it doesn't prevent uncertainty. What it does is give you space to breathe, to observe, and to respond instead of react. Because life will always change, emotions will rise and fall, situations will come and go, but your deeper self, the one that is aware of all of it, remains steady through every season. And when you remember that, you stop being pulled apart by everything that happens, and start living from a place of calm, clarity, and quiet strength. So as you move forward, remember this. You are not your worries, not your fears, and not your temporary struggles. You are the presence behind them all. The awareness that observes, the strength that endures, and the steady self that remains even when everything else changes. And when you begin to live from that understanding, life doesn't become perfect, but it becomes lighter, clearer, and far more peaceful. And when you can see that clearly, you don't just survive life. You begin to experience it with more peace, clarity, and strength. Because you're no longer fighting every thought or being pulled apart by every emotion. Instead, you're grounded in something deeper. The part of you that remains steady, even when everything else shifts. And from that place, life doesn't feel like something you have to endure. It becomes something you can truly live through, with awareness and calm.